Get in the picture.
What are we doing?
I'm not too sure.
I'm kidding. I'm trying to prepare this stuff so that I can show how to make it. I need to like...
This is bad filming.
This is how I... Well, why are you recording? We're not doing anything right now.
Sorry. My goodness.
Don't.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the first episode of...
Wakku Wakku.
Wakku Wakku. What does that even mean?
Exciting stuff.
It means...
To be excited.
Ah, that's right. What are we excited about?
Crafts, and this particular craft.
Oh, is that Kanzashi?
Yes, it is.
Wow, tell me about it.
It's the Japanese art of making flowers out of fabric.
Okay, so cotton, silk,
Any kind
wool.
of fabric. Any kind of fabric.
So can you use a shirt from your closet?
So I would recommend more. Oh, it's not focused.
That's okay.
I would recommend fabric that's a little stiffer, so like not necessarily really soft cotton t-shirt, but maybe like those t-shirts you get when you do a marathon that are kind of like crusty and
Like jersey?
Yeah.
Crusty?
You know, like when
Crusty?
you know when you get like t-shirts that are free at like for participating in something,
Okay.
and they're kind of stiff and itchy.
Okay. Yeah.
That kind of it's got to be like a stiffer fabric.
So use shirts that have been given to you.
Yeah, like shirts you're not gonna
Okay.
wear.
Okay.
Or any fabric really, because you can go to the store and pick out a pattern that you like.
Can you show our viewers what we have here, or what you have?
So I made my flowers out of excuse me.
Wow, let's try that again. My goodness.
So I made my flowers out of old kimonos I had lying around that were sent to me a long time ago, like kimonos that just are for little kids.
That's quite pretty.
Anymore.
That's very nice.
Yeah, it's cute, and like you could put it in like a little hair bow, or you can put it on your
Okay.
purse or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
I think they're cute, and they're really easy to make.
So I guess that's what we're going to show everybody.
Yeah.
There's more than one kind of way to make this.
You can make it out of fabric, or you can make it out of ribbon, but the ribbon has to be like a polyester ribbon that when you burn it, it melts, like the edge melts to seal it.
Okay, well, let's give some directions.
All right.
Next up.
All right, here we go. So you're gonna wanna cut the fabric to just a little bit bigger than the template size in a square so that you can clean the little plastic template we've got here. So I found the easiest way, instead of having to measure everything out, just place the template down and cut a square around it. Pretty straightforward. This would probably go a lot faster if I had sharper scissors, but I've used these a ton and don't know how to sharpen scissors, so if anyone can let me know. I've tried cutting tinfoil, that doesn't work. All right, so I'm just cutting it down to size just to make it even. The less fabric you have to cut away, the easier, but you don't want to cut away too much because then it'll just be harder to work with. All right, so now that we've got the square cut, you want to cut 5 more, or however many petals you plan on making. So I'm just sizing up kind of the quickest way to cut multiple squares with the least amount of effort. So here I fold it a few times in half, kind of like when you make those snowflakes in school where they all join together, or little men that all are holding hands or something like that. And just cut around your original square. pretty easy. I feel like I don't really need to have to explain this part. It's pretty straightforward. This fabric's a little bit wonky because it actually used to be a kimono that I've had forever. So it's got two leather like layers, two fabrics, whatever, and some interfacing and whatnot. So that's why you see kind of like these weird pieces that I'm pulling away from it. And I actually ended up making a flower out of the lining too, but it was a little bit more basic and simple than obviously the fabric on the outside. I'm just cutting my last piece because we need 5. I'm sure if you got really quick at this, you'd already have like pre-cut pieces and all you'd have to do is just sew, and I think that'd be a lot easier, but I was not prepared as well as I could have been. So now you just fold the fabric in half between the template. So you just want to make sure that you get the fabric as close as possible to the crease of the template. That's what I was doing when I lined it up on the edge of the table. It just helps to get the fabric right in the crease because you want it basically as tight and as uniform as possible, just so that your petal doesn't look all loose and saggy or like lopsided in areas. And now I'm just cutting around the edge of the template. And don't worry if you can't get like right up against the plastic, because you inevitably don't see that edge. You just don't want to have a whole bunch of fabric there because it's the part that bunches and you would attach to the center of the flower. And so if you've got a bunch of extra fabric there, it's obviously just going to get in the way. So just be mindful of that. I'm a little bit OCD with getting it as close as possible because I am just that way, I guess. And so basically from here, you just get to start sewing. So you'll thread your needle and thread, and I would typically thread the needle through the needle once and then tie kind of like in a loop so that it's like the needle kind of hangs on the thread like a charm on a necklace would. Tie off the end, so now it's basically 2 pieces of thread, which just makes it stronger, but it can also cause tangling if you're not careful, so you just have to be careful of that. But I prefer having thread, 2 threads. It just makes it stronger, and because if you tug on it too tight, the thread can just snap. At least that's what I find. So that's just what works with me, and I've actually done that all the time with all the sewing. I always double thread, but you'll figure it out once you kind of get used to the process. The first one is probably going to be the most hard, and then after that you'll just get super easy. So essentially here I am threading through the first hole, following the template numbers, super straightforward. I don't know how much else to say there. You basically just follow the numbers, pull the thread tight, kind of adjust as you go and make sure nothing's getting tangled anywhere, that kind of thing. And then once you release the petal, you basically just fold the petal in half. I find it's the best way. Fold the petal in half, sort of coax it along, and then kind of tug on both ends of the thread until it lies flat, essentially. And there's no loops in the thread, nothing's pulling apart, nothing's like sticking out, that kind of thing. You just want to keep tugging, keep giving the thread a little pull here and there, and just coax it along until it's nice and flat. And then once you've got it that way, you can start to push the fabric together to pleat it, to create the petal shape. So there you can see I've already put together, 4 petals? So there's the 5th one, and you just kind of guide it along the thread. It slides really easily. If it doesn't, you've done something wrong, so just start over. It should just coax along the thread nice and smoothly. And you just gotta pinch it together when you're done. Pull the thread tight so all the fabrics, like all the petals, are, positioned the way that you want them to look, nice and close together, or however many you've got, however you want it to look. You just want to make sure that you've done it that way. And then essentially doing the back is, I usually do like a top stitch just to keep them still, and then pin them where I want them to stay, then hand sew them together, tie it off. So it's a little bit tricky, the end piece at the beginning, but you'll get the hang of it. You'll kind of see what works for you. And there's no like rhyme or reason. Like, I mean, you can just, whatever works for you, works for you. That's what I say. I've seen some people glue it, like hot glue the petals once they're stuck together. So there you go.
Welcome to Wakku Wakku, guys.
Welcome, you mean goodbye. We're done now.